So yeah, I guess we will react to this then. I thought we had watched it already, but I guess we hadn't. It's called Scam Citizen. Is Star Citizen a scam? Grumpy's rehab facility, number 52. And before any of you people get in the comments down below, Grumpy sent this to me in our video react request in Discord, specifically, like essentially asking me to react to it. So, you know, enjoying those comments down below on literally the react channel. But okay. Good job, guys.
Previously on GrumpyEye. What is Star Citizen?
That was a little loud. My bad.
Is it a scam or a revolution in gaming?
Oh my god.
And this was one of the most controversial things that I've said in that video, and it's one of my latest videos, and you can watch it if you didn't already. I think that you should, because it's a really good video. And like, for one side, it's controversial because people still think, and people still like insist that Star Citizen is a scam. And on the other side, you have people that get like really angry whenever you mention that. So this is the video where I will lose a bunch of subscribers because I'm gonna talk about that, and the answer is not what you think that it's gonna be. So stay tuned and let me roll the intro.
Hello, my name is Grumpy.
Best intro in the community for sure.
Okay, so first off, I don't want to give you the wrong impression that I'm a financial specialist or that I have all the bills and evidence of CAG's expenses. I'm not a hacker. I have not hacked into their mainframe. I'm not an IRS guy. I do not know what their expenses are. I'm merely a music producer and a sound designer, and if anything, musicians are not really known to be that good with money. But I have done my research, and yeah, I'm gonna talk about all the research that I have done, and I'm gonna make a conclusion in the end. And if
you have cancer,
if you don't want to wait for the conclusion, like, TLDR is that no, it's not a scam. But yeah, just hear me out. So first off, let me read out what the definition of scam is on Merriam-Webster. Scam is defined as a fraudulent or deceptive act or operation. As a transitive verb, it is to deceive and defraud, or to obtain something such as money by a scam. Other synonyms for scamming,
I don't know, number 2. Interesting.
are fiddle, flim-flam, fraud, hustle, shell game, sting, and swindle. How can Star Citizen be a scam when it's playable, even though it's in an alpha state? And I wouldn't really call it an alpha state, I would call it a business model, because it is what it is. And how is it a scam if there's like 700 to 800 people working on Star Citizen currently, or Squadron 42 and Star Citizen, or inside the development team of Cloud Imperium Games? So first off, let me talk about how much would it cost just to rent the offices for all those employees.
Okay, let's unpack that one. That one's often the response from many people, and it's a valid one. It's literally the worst scam of all time. But yeah, the problem is it's like everybody is working on Squadron and almost nobody is working on Star Citizen. And when I say Star Citizen is a scam, that is literally the only thing that I feel is the scammy element of it. Is you buying a spaceship, you thinking that you're supporting one project, but it's supporting another.
In those, like,
it's like what a Ponzi scheme is. It's like Squadron 42 is Bernie Madoff. That's basically what it is.
5 places where they have offices at. Like there's going to be Austin, Texas. There's going to be Montreal, Canada, Frankfurt, Germany, UK, Manchester, and then we have Los Angeles, California. And on top of that, we have them, or CAG, or Cloud Imperium Games, hiring other people from other companies or outsourcing so they can work on things such as Quanta. And we had Todd Pappy mention that in the last Star Citizen Live.
Basically the game Horizon and and Tony have been
Oh, that was a
focusing on
month
other
ago.
things.
Wow.
Game Horizon, for folks who've never heard that term before, is
Go ahead.
I was gonna.
You got it.
They're another company that we're working with that's helping us build quantum.
So as I've said, let's try to figure out how much money would it take on a yearly basis to rent offices for all those people. So when we're talking about office space, we need to understand a few things. Office is a workplace that needs to be somewhere in the city center or close to it, or should I say, a place that is easily accessible for all the employees. It's usually the
Typically, yeah, it would be a city center. But people are saying, yes, but actually everything that is worked on in Squadron 42 will make its way to Star Citizen, so those dev hours are not wasted. True. But we just haven't seen the fruit of that labor really yet. And that's kind of the problem. And another person said, I spent 5 digits to support Chris Roberts. Not one game. Mission accomplished. Yeah, good for you. Like, I'm not knocking it. It's just that if you are going to argue that there is any scam at all, it is the deception that your money is going to support Star Citizen, but your money is going to support a game in which they do not share open development and progress very well with. So it creates this whirlwind of 10 years still in alpha, this and blah, 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 you know? So it creates all this like... a lot of problems.
City center because employees may need to use the public transportation system to get to their workplace. So it isn't really logical to have it on the outskirts of the city or outside of town. Therefore, the closer you get to the city center, the higher the rental prices are. When you're picking a city for an office space, you pick it by researching where you can get the most value, or where the rental prices are low and where you can find the most or the best employees. You wouldn't really go to New York City Center to open up a farming equipment store, just as you wouldn't go to a third world country such as Serbia and its capital of Belgrade to get the best game developers. Sure, the rental prices are low, the workforce is cheap, but the best devs are leaving for UK or Germany. And I would know because I'm from Belgrade, Serbia. Now, on the topic of rental prices in major US and EU cities, I have done some digging, and there is a lot of info posted online. For example, in the States, the most expensive city to rent office space is New York, where the average price for office space per employee costs about $14,000 per year. And Atlanta is the most affordable city with an average yearly cost of about like $4,000 or just above $4,000 bucks per employee per year.
Oh, wow, really?
So if we take an average out of those two prices, we get a number around $9,000 per person per year. Now, EU cities are not any different compared to US, so we can use that price as an average price that CAG is paying per employee per year just for renting an office space. And of course, I'm talking about the number of 9.
What? Dude, this has to be a meme. The stock video he's using literally has to be a meme. It's so funny. Look at this one.
$1,000 US. Now, if we multiply that number with the number of 800 employees that CAG currently has, we can get an estimate that Cloud Imperium Games is spending around $7.2 million a year just for renting office spaces for their employees.
Why isn't he just using the financial statements? I think somebody said that in chat earlier. Why are you guessing when you can literally look what they spent on things?
The number is probably higher because this is just an estimate, as I said. And yes, they have been renting the same offices during the pandemic, even though they were mostly working from home. And if you're asking yourself, why just now work from home? The answer is simple. Game development is a creative job, where people bounce their ideas off each other. And if they're not sitting next to each other, that could slow down the development even more. And you saw how things were slow throughout 2020 and 2021. So let's talk about the average salaries of developers around the world. And I'm gonna try to concentrate on like US, Canada, Frankfurt, and UK. And I have done some research and I have found out the minimum and the maximum wages for game devs in each of those countries and states. And then did some quick maths to get an average pay for a game developer per country or state. So in England, the average yearly pay for a game dev would be around $74,000.
the only
In Germany,
argument-
it's a bit lower,
hold
around
on.
$40,000. In Canada,
The only argument for not taking a look at these is this is what they do. They fudge their numbers a little bit, where they include salaries, related costs, excluding community events and marketing, general admin, publishing operations, community events and marketing, and they kind of like fudge things around a little bit and add things together. Like if you wanted to look up what their server costs were, it's a little messy, but you can look up their salaries right here, right in these charts. This is from their 2021. But like publishing ops, community events, and marketing, like they added marketing to the same like headcount as like the people who run the servers, right? So it's difficult to tell the costs of some of these things. Other game dev costs are 8.8 million, right? Yeah, like server costs are listed under marketing as well. So you can't truly tell what their server costs are each year, things like that. So their financials are slightly difficult to follow, and that's maybe why he's spending a little bit of time guessing there. But I think it would have made more sense to just be like, here's the numbers that they gave us, but
the average pay would be around $82,000. In Texas, it would be around $15,000. And in California, the average pay
cannot be $15,000. Did I miss something here? Yeah, that's wrong.
did some quick maths to get an average pay for a game developer per country or state. So in England, the average yearly pay for a game dev would be around $74,000. In Germany, it's a bit lower, around $40,000.
Yeah, it's 100,000.
In Canada, the average pay would be around $82,000. In Texas, it would be around $15,000.
Yeah, he just misspoke. There's no way. Yeah, he just misspoke.
And in California, the average pay would be around $75,000 a year. So with some quick maths, I tried to get the average pay out of all of those average salaries, just so I don't have to bother with math that much on the long run. And I calculated that CAG pays their game developers around $77,000 a year. Obviously, I'm just faking this. Just for your pleasure.
He made his own
now,
stock
those
footage.
$77,000 a year are
shit.
obviously just an average and just my estimate. Junior devs are gonna get paid less, senior devs are getting paid more. But if you multiply that number with 800 employees, you get a number of $61,705,000 per year just for salaries. And if you add the 7.2 million a year for renting office spaces to the money that's getting spent on salaries a year, you get a whopping number of 68 million a year, roughly, of course. And that's, of course, just an estimate. Now, on top of that, you have programmers, you have people from the marketing team, you have video editors, you have a bunch of other people that you're gonna employ. And then on top of that, of course, you have people or companies that you're gonna outsource, or that CAG is outsourcing, and we can't.
The difference is that, like, and this is a discussion we were having in Discord the other day, the cost of a developer, so the cost of like somebody who codes, the cost of somebody who is a network guy, the cost of somebody who's working, you know, full stack, like things like that, they're expensive, but producers don't make shit. QA doesn't make shit. So there's how many of those expensive guys are there versus how many of the like more entry level positions are there? I don't know.
Can't really know how much they're paying them, but on top.
Also, I think it's pretty common knowledge that CIG pays below average game developer salaries.
On top of that, you need to understand that there's even more expenses. For example, renting servers from Amazon. Now, I tried to find the prices of renting Amazon servers, and since I'm completely retarded when it comes to programming, networking, and computers in general, I can say with most certainty that I have no idea what I'm talking about. But I have found a price for a server with 96 virtual cores, and its monthly price was around $3,000. But that's just a single server, and you need more of them per region. And in the game, we currently have 3 regions that we can connect to. So let's say we only have 20 servers per region. There will be 60 servers for all regions, and when you multiply that with a price of $3,000 per month, and then multiply that with 12 months in a year, we get up to $2 million. And yes, those numbers may not be correct at all because I have no idea what I'm looking at. And of course, we have much more than 20 servers per region, because whenever a server fails or is full, we could spawn a new one. And then on top of that, we
especially when we had 50-player servers.
have different servers running different applications, such as the backend database or the Quantas simulation, and of course we have a different server just for chat. And those all cost money. How much? How the fuck do I know? Like, if you know it, just like write it down in the comments. If you have any idea about all of this, just write down in the comments below and tell me, like, how much does it cost to like rent servers from Amazon for a game of this scale for Star Citizen?
Yeah, I mean, they might have a deal as well. Like, there was, you know, some lumberyard shit, right? Something might have happened there. So we don't know, but why does it matter? He's trying to make the point that Star Citizen isn't a scam because they're spending money on the actual project. So that Grumpy goes in very roundabout ways to make his points, right? Instead of taking the straight line to the point, he makes a lot of detours and then gets there. And his point of view here is that the game can't possibly be a scam, or it's literally the worst scam of all time because they're spending all their money on development. It's not like it's going to Chris and Sandy's yacht or whatever. But the thing is Chris did share that he makes what a C-level salary would be at a AAA game company. You know, like Blizzard, like Bobby. Does Chris deserve Bobby money?
Now, before you say that we need to call the cops on CAG, you need to understand that there are even more expenses that I didn't mention. And even these ones that I have mentioned are enough to understand how things are working in the gaming industry. And in the end, how much did Star Citizen actually make in the last year? Around $85 million. How much did they spend? A bit less than that. Because this is the first time that they have said that they have actually made some money instead of just covering the expenses, and that is why they are expanding. But wait, now because of them expanding, on top of that, they need to pay for the new equipment and the tables and the chairs and the coffee machines and the computers, all of which need to be amazing and much better than your top-of-the-line gaming computer. And then they need to make a new motion capture studio, and those are pretty fucking expensive. And from what I know, they currently have 2 or 3 of those. And on top of all of that, they need to have internal servers and NASs that are running on SSDs because they're pulling a lot of data off of those NASs. And if you don't know what an NAS is, that's basically network accessible storage.
So based on CIG's numbers, wait, where are you getting 2022 numbers from, IC? They only shared 2020 numbers so far. Are those actual numbers? Right now, somebody said 63,000 average per dev per year.
So you have disks that are like connected to your network. Most of the YouTubers have those, but like those are really small, and most of them are like HDD. In this case, you would need to use like SSD drives because like, yeah, you're pulling a lot of data across the country, or maybe like just even inside the studio. So yeah, those are really fucking expensive. I'm looking into buying one just with like SSDs, and those are really fucking expensive even for like consumer uses. Imagine for like a big game, like a gaming studio, like development studio, those are like huge fucking racks that are in like climatized room away, because they're loud as fuck and they're away from all the people. And yeah, like that all costs money, and that all costs a lot of fucking money. So how can you say that this is a scam, that Star Citizen is a scam, when you have all those people working their asses off and all those, like, all that equipment and all those, like, locations where they work at? That's basically like saying, I want to rob a bank and I have the most elaborate plan to rob a bank ever. See, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go there on an interview.
It is kinda like
and
robbing
I'm gonna
right
do
now,
my
right?
best, and they're gonna hire me, and I'm gonna be an employee of that bank. But like, here's the thing: I'm gonna work for that bank for 40 years, and then I'm gonna get to the pension, and then they're gonna pay me from the pension fund, and yeah, I've robbed them. Like how? Well, I worked there for 40 years and they paid me for working. Dude, like, that is not a scam. That is not like what robbing the bank is.
Okay.
So therefore, this is not a scam. Star Citizen is not a scam. What it is, as I've said, is a really mismanaged project, and CAG, even though they are working their asses off, they are concentrating on completely different things from what we want them to concentrate on. And they're working on Squadron 42 while we are paying for Star Citizen.
There he
And
goes.
that's it. That's basically it. Like, there's not much more to it. It's not a scam. It's not a pyramid scheme. It's not any of that bullshit.
It kind of is, because you're buying for one thing and getting the other, right? Like, I think we're really, really missing that point, because that is a really important one. Is I would imagine we're approaching like 90% of the people that are buying Star Citizen today are not buying it for Squadron 42. They may not even know what Squadron 42 is, and then that money is not going to make the game that they want it to make. Yes, some of those features will transfer over, but what will happen is you're still focusing somewhere else, and then you will expect the game to improve. Like, let's say you buy today, right? 317.2, not the best experience in the world. Your expectations would be for it to get better. Well, guess what? 318, probably not going to be better. 319, probably not going to be better. And 4.0 is going to be a very interesting experience as well. Sure, that might actually... Like, those three patches may not be the best example, because those three patches might actually show some progress for the first time in a long time. But I think you kind of get the point that I'm making here, is that, you know, if you backed in, you know, let's say 3.10, and then because you saw some cool videos from CIG about Star Citizen, and then watch the progress to where you are now, you'd probably not be happy with the pace of things, right? So that's kind of what the scam is, but I think the scam is very much in quotations because of what was said earlier. A lot of the work that's happening in Squadron should transfer over to Star Citizen, but so far, we haven't seen that yet.
It is what it is. It is a business model. They are running a business. And a few people have commented on my channel that they're really pissed off because Chris...
Is running a business just making money, or does their business create something? You know, some businesses actually create products that people want to buy. And in this case, what product are they creating that people want to buy? Is it a video game, or is it spaceships? Right? So that's kind of the issue here is, yeah, sure, they're a business, but they're not actually running the business. They're not operating the business in the space that they appear to be operating in, which is game development.
Roberts made a lot of money. Like, first off, how do you know? My guess is that he is paying himself for being a CEO, a lead game development, etc., etc., etc. It doesn't matter. Even if he is, dude, I'm glad for him. Like, I'm really, like, he is building a good thing. He's doing it really fucking slowly, and it's getting, like, we're all getting to a boiling point because, like, all of this shit.
I have a lot of respect for Chris Roberts. With the times that we met in person, I've shared the same story a billion times. He has this aura about him. He's very, very hardworking. He absolutely cares and is one of the most passionate people I've ever come across. Okay, but I'm not happy for Chris yet because Chris hasn't made anything worth being happy for. I'll be happy for Chris when he ships this. I'll be happy for Chris when there's, you know, stuff on, like, you know, it's not just an empty paper bag. There's actually groceries in it. You know what I mean? That's when I'll be happy for Chris. I want to be happy for Chris, but I can't be yet.
Like, it shouldn't take 10 years just to get to this point where
When people start businesses in the real world, they eat shit and they struggle and they don't pay themselves CEO salaries while the rest of the company is being paid, you know, below average or whatever. Was somebody corrected me in chat earlier. They don't pay their devs as well as your EA or your other AAA companies, but they want to pretend that they are a AAA company, right? And that's one of the things. This is, again, very common knowledge. It was spoke about on an RTV before when people were like, they were losing some employees to EA at the time. That's kind of what was said out to the community at that time. And yeah, this is a quadruple A company, so it's very different. You know, you don't play your employees all that well, but your CEO gets a C-level salary.
we still don't have server meshing,
And
where
your
we still
wife's on
don't
the
have
board.
like 90% of the game. Of
different.
course, that is not like, you cannot dispute that. But
Oh, and
is
your
it a
brother-
scam? It is not.
And your brother's a director.
Did he make some money? Probably. And like, why would you get mad if a guy made money from working on what he wants to work on and what he loves? Like, I want to make a lot of money from music, and Serbia is at that point that I can't really make a lot of money with music.
Okay, that, like, you know, that's Grumpy's unique situation, but do you know how you usually make a lot of money from music? You make really good music and maybe you get lucky or whatever, right? Like, I'm going to make a very big generalization here. There's some things like that. Do you know how you make a lot of money from streaming or making YouTube videos? By making better content than the dog shit content that I make, right? So there's like the comparison that I'm trying to make is that Chris should make a lot of money from delivering a really good product. Chris should not make a lot of money from sharing the development of a game that he's not developing and not sharing the development of a game that he is, right? Like, I don't believe Star Citizen is a scam. I do not believe it. And for the same reasons that Grumpy is arguing here. It'd be a really stupid scam if you were spending most of your development most of your money on development, I should say. But there are just way too many moments where you can look at Star Citizen and go, something ain't right, you know? And it may not be an huge mega scam that everybody tries to call it to be, but there are way too many moments where you go, yeah, man, something ain't sitting right here.
So I stopped and I'm doing YouTube now and I'm making some money. And are you gonna be like angry at me for making some money from YouTube? Like, what's the fucking point?
Have you read your YouTube comments lately? Yes, they will be.
Are you consuming my content? Yes, you are. Are you consuming Chris's content? Yes, you are. And then why would you get fucking angry because both of us made money? He made more, I mean, surely he made more.
definitely made
But like,
more
why
money.
would you get angry? There's no fucking reason. If somebody makes it, don't be a dick and be like, he fucking made it because he must be running a scam and all that. He's not running a scam. Is it a poorly managed project? Yes, it is. Is it business model that causes more harm towards us, the players, and like enriches them, even though they're not really getting like richer, they're just like covering their expenses basically. And
No, I think I'll try to communicate what I think Grumpy was going for there. Does the business model do more good to the player than it does, and to the game as a whole, than it does harm? And I think there's a debate there. I don't know if it does more harm than good, but I certainly think they've opened the door for debate, and that's never good, right? It's never good to have that door open.
And all those ship sales that we saw in the past year were basically just for them expanding in Frankfurt and across the globe, basically. So are they doing good? Yes, they are. Is the game doing good? No, it's not, and that's it. But like, you can't call it a scam. If you want to call it a scam, dude, inform yourself. Like, just like Google it and see what scam is, or just fucking watch this video. I just shown you that this is not a scam. That is it for today, guys. Thank you for watching. God damn it. Thank you to all my patrons for supporting the channel. If you want to support the channel, I would love you to support the channel, of course. And yeah, there's gonna be a link down in the description of the video, and you can support me through Patreon. And
speaking in absolutes is probably not the best thing to do.
yeah, again,
when like, if Star Citizen shuts its doors tomorrow, we would watch this video and just Pepe laugh.
Thank you for watching, guys. I love you, and don't forget to bring a towel when you're traveling through space. And of course, don't forget to unsubscribe, because I called it a scam, but it's not a scam, but it's a scam, but it's not a scam. And I never thought it was a scam. And then some people are yeah, just fucking attack me in the comments because all of the shit that I said here, and tell me how wrong I am. Kisses, goodbye.
Yeah, like, I don't think he's wrong. I just think there's always more depth to things, and it's not as simple as no, it's not a scam because they're trying to make a game. You know, they've made a lot of choices that have made it harder for them to make a game, right? They've made, and then they've had to react to that and sell more ships and all these things. And again, I always go back to a little bit of the nepotism, or the Chris saying he pays himself a C-level salary, because there's a lot of comments out there, and again, I'm more on the GrumpyEye side of things, where I don't believe it's a scam. I do believe they're trying to actively make a game, and I do believe that it's really difficult to do what they're trying to do. The perception out there is that it's possible to do what they're trying to do. It may be, it may not be. It's hard to say if that's what it's going to be until it happens, right? Star Citizen absolutely still could fail today to deliver on any of the features that they had hoped to deliver. The only real issue that I take here is that they open the door for people to call it a scam way too easily. You know, we all know that Sandy played a major part in the success of this company, and there's no reason to give her a hard time. But having your wife on the board of directors at the company you work at, Chris isn't the only one getting a salary now. Now it's Chris and his wife. Oh, your brother also works here? Successful game developer in his own right, and you know, probably deserves the job that he's in, but it opens that door again, right? It's just, there's too many doors that are able to be open for criticism, and it just doesn't look good. And that's all it really is. And then obviously the amount of time it's taken, the amount of time that they've switched priorities 50 million times, the amount of times that they've reworked things, game development as a service, like all that kind of stuff is like, hey, check out game development instead of, hey, check out Star Citizen, right? There's just so many different things that open the door for it. But I'm fully of the belief that if you're following the project, you've purchased a package or whatever, that you should just kind of like take what you got on your hard drive, enjoy what you have now, whatever the ride may be. It might be pretty enjoyable. The game is really fun when playing with other people, and you know, a lot of people have found, you know, really great communities and whatever within from inside the game. And that's where I kind of argued, like, is the game doing more harm than it is good? Overall, it's clear to me that the game has done a lot more good than it's done harm for a lot of people. So where's the scam in that, right? But if you kind of really take a good look at it, it's just too many doors open to be critical of the company, and it just is what it is. So here's GrumpyEye. We haven't watched one of his videos in a little while now. So there's a link to his channel if you guys want to subscribe to him and everything. He's been on the podcast before. I consider him a good friend as well. And yeah, just we all want the game to be successful, and it can be frustrating to follow the project, you know? But hopefully it works out.